Hi guys, I'm doing it all over again. This is part two of oh, this is part two of watching TikTok stories after 9 months. So yeah, let's do it.
Play with my brother's hot dog while
You know the thing about
I
people.
took 2 gummy bears instead of 1. When I got to class 4 redhead girls with yachts accidentally sat on my lap and started bouncing up and down in a row. What the heck, you scoundrels? I cried, but I couldn't worry about this because John Cena broke through the ceiling and gave me a high five and 50 bands.
John Cena broke through this legs.
Then my teacher let me know the test I didn't study for actually was ace so hard she became seduced and wired me the account number for her pension and all of her assets, and Harvard was calling. Then my hot 20-year-old Latina Spanish teacher brought me up in front of the class and spanked me for being a naughty boy and talking during class, and my seats flowed through the room, another sea of redheads with yachts, and they all got pregnant. Then I went to gym class and 50 mixed girls with curly hair began to surround me and all tried to give me a spot on bench, but all accidentally fell on top of me and began making out with me passionately. I was like, boy, what the heck, boy, this is PDA and this isn't actually allowed in school, but they persisted, so I allowed it for only 10 minutes before I had to get to photography class. This is when my teacher became a submissive Omlevin femboy Griffith and I went to the bathroom to fix my shirt, which I had accidentally worn inside out. When I entered the stall, the bathroom was empty. As I flipped my shirt around, someone walked into the stall next to me. I also used some toilet paper to wipe my nose and dropped it in the bowl. This triggered the auto flush sensor, and it flushed. Here's where my predicament began. I realized I also had to pee, but since I had already used toilet paper and flushed, my twisted mind decided this would seem really weird to the person next door. Why would someone use the bathroom, flush, and then stand up and pee again? But I couldn't hold it. I was afraid they might recognize my shoes and know who I was. So I hatched a clever deception. I left the stall and washed my hands to seem normal, despite the fact that I hadn't even used the bathroom. After drying my hands, I walked loudly to the exit and opened the door into the hall. Then I said, "Oh, excuse me," like I bumped into someone else coming in, and walked right back in. I made sure to change the sound of my footsteps, walking more quietly, so the person in the stall would think I was a different person and not some freak playing bathroom charades. Then I went to the urinal, peed, and washed my hands again, this time using the farthest sink so they couldn't spot my shoes. I went to the bathroom.
Oh, that's kind of clever.
I was sitting in class when the substitute teacher stuck her hand out and said, "Spit out your chewing gum." I laughed nervously but put it in her hand anyway.
I went to remove her pants and she hesitated.
Start off. Wait a minute.
During sex ed class, our teacher said, "Would anyone like a demonstration?" Our entire class in my
Yeah, Dad, I just did it with my coach.
What? He's 46 years old. You're only 13.
I was sitting in class when the substitute teacher stuck her hand out and said, "Spit out your chewing gum." I laughed nervously but put it in her hand anyway. Suddenly, she collapsed to the floor. Her whole body started shaking like she was having a seizure. Multiple people called 911.
I busted a fat load in my sister.
Okay.
This all started when she got stuck in the washing machine, so like any normal 10-year-old would, I gave her some dummy back shots. For some background, me and my stepsister and I have always had a friendly relationship. She's a few years older than me, and I can't deny that she's pretty attractive. She's got this long, wavy hair that frames her face perfectly, but most importantly she got some humongous mommy milkers. Holy moly, I could waterboat them for hours, but anyways, I've never thought of her in that way, of course. But a few days ago, I was home alone just chilling on the couch when I heard some noise coming from the laundry room. I went to investigate and found my stepsister stuck in the washing machine. Her body was fully wedged in there. She must have been trying to reach something that had fallen behind the machine. Her behind was sticking out, facing me. I rushed towards her, panicking that she could be hurt. I grabbed her waist and started pulling, trying to get her unstuck. I honestly think she got stuck due to her mommy milkers being so huge. As I felt her soft skin and the curve of her body beneath my hands, I started to lose control, so I told her that I'd seen this before in a movie, and the only way to get her unstuck was by the power of back shots.
What?
Surprisingly, she agreed, and I started taking her to Pound Town. Holy guacamole, did she have a gorilla grip. I almost passed out. Sadly, this didn't work, so like any 10-year-old I turned on the washing machine and went back to watching TV.
My son and his friend creamed all over my face.
My sister.
My son and his friend creamed all over my face.
What?
My son's biggest passion is soccer. He's not the only one who liked to play with balls. I always used to watch his games and take him to practice and would proudly watch him. I used to take him and his friend home 3 to 4 days a week because they were living close and it was his best friend that didn't have that much support from his parents and I felt bad for it, so I liked to make him feel better. It was match day and they were having an important match for finals in a local league. In the first half my son scored 2 goals, so it was 2-0. Second half starts and the other team scored 3 goals and overturned the match, and it was the 87th minute and it was 3-2. My son's friend scored an equalizer at 3-3 and then his friend scored 2 goals because they had 6 minutes of extra time leading to winning the local cup, and everyone was so happy when we celebrated. I got out of the chair and jumped, tatas bouncing and everything. At this point I was so happy and told them that I was taking them home so we can celebrate. Son's best friend asked that because they are the winners they both want a reward because they put in so much effort, and he said that because they won he gets to see my cherries. Obviously I flashed him and my son also saw it and they started laughing and being excited. His friend ended up spending the night. I woke up the next morning and my face was covered in a white substance.
What?
I wiped my eyes off and saw my son and his friend running away from my bed laughing and picking up their pants. I looked in the mirror, I looked like a glazed donut. They got me good. My son and his friend creamed all over
My sister let me hit it from behind and fill her up after a concert. Some context. Last week, I went to a concert with my sister. We both have similar taste in music and like the same groups. Since this was one of our favorite groups, we decided to get as close to the front of the stage as possible. We squeezed into a small.
My husband booked a Hawaii trip for his whole family, but forgot to include me. I found out about the Hawaii trip by accident when my 8-year-old daughter Mia came running into the kitchen, asking if she could bring her new swimsuit to Hawaii next month. I had no idea what she was talking about until she showed me the group text on her iPad that my husband Steve had included her in about the family vacation he was planning. There were flight confirmations.
My dad wanted to experience pulling out for the first time, so I let him. When I, a 28-year-old female, was 4 years old, my dad cheated on my mom with his now wife, and mom divorced him. She got 50-50 custody. I hated going to my father's house because I didn't want his wife to tell me what to do. My dad reduced his time when he got married. I was 6 at that time and wasn't even invited to his wedding, but his stepkids were. His excuse was that I am still bitter and will ruin the ceremony. Over time, he only paid just the child support and I was completely neglected. When my dad had my half-brother, he was busy with him and ignored me. He even stopped taking me to his house for the weekends. He would just ignore me and tell me that he wouldn't talk to me unless I act like a good child, aka call my stepmom mom rather than her name. He would make excuses not to get me ice cream or do any activities. There was a time when I graduated elementary school and he promised that he and I would go fishing. Of course, that never happened. He ghosted me and told my mom there was an emergency. I was again abandoned. By that time, my mom started dating my stepdad, Lenny. Lenny was the father I never had. He was a single dad, but he still treated me like his own child. He taught me how to swim, how to drive my car. He attended all the school functions I was in. He was there every time my dad abandoned me. I went very low contact with my dad, only contacting him on Christmas. I don't even call him on Father's Day. So fast forward to the present, I'm getting married and I have to ask Lenny to walk me down the aisle because he is the only dad I have ever known. My dad and his family will be coming as guests. This infuriated my dad. He told me I am his only daughter and I shouldn't keep him away from his rights as a father. According to him, he has been a great father and I am being unfair to him. Also, he doesn't want Lenny to walk me down the aisle at all. I told my dad he can walk his stepdaughter down the aisle.
I accidentally dipped my meat into a random woman's mouth. It was not my fault. Let me.
You can get 1,000 things every day, pal. This is one of them.